Good morning, everyone. The topic is mainly about hypoxia. What is hypoxia? Is deficiency of oxygen at tissue. That means reduced oxygen supply to tissue. It can be of any reason, but reduced oxygen supply to tissue is known as hypoxia. Reduced oxygen. So it is of four types mainly. Hypoxia. That means actually in the air with which we are breathing or in the blood that is carrying oxygen, there is less amount of partial pressure of oxygen in the arterial blood. Anemic hypoxia. This is because of the reduced hemoglobin availability. But whereas arterial partial pressure of oxygen is normal, that means when arterial pressure oxygenation at the lungs is normal and arterial partial pressure of oxygen is normal, but hemoglobin availability is less. So the dissolved content of oxygen is normal, that is 0.3 ml per deciliter. But whereas in hypoxia, because of the low PO2, oxygenation is defective and even dissolved oxygen content will be less. Stagnant hypoxia, dissolved form of oxygen, hemoglobin levels are normal, but stagnant means blood is stagnant. There is stasis of blood, reduced blood flow to the tissues, sluggish blood flow to the tissues called stagnant hypoxia. Histotoxic hypoxia. Blood flow is normal, hemoglobin is normal, PO2 is normal. But tissues are not able to use the available oxygen. That is histotoxic. So, the defect is in tissues itself when there is histotoxic hypoxia. Defect is in blood flow, stagnant hypoxia. Defect is in hemoglobin content or type of hemoglobin, anemic hypoxia. Defect is in oxygenation or as the partial pressure of oxygen of the blood is hypoxic. This is the most common cause, both anemic and hypoxic. So inadequate oxygenation of the blood in the lungs, especially inadequate oxygenation of the blood in the lungs leads to hypoxia. Because of the external factors, right? When in the atmosphere itself oxygen is less. This is possible in the higher altitudes. Okay, higher altitudes. And a person is, you know, covered with some blanket or sealed environment, there is no oxygen, that is very rare. But in the higher altitude, what happens is the barometric pressure decreases. This reduces the oxygen partial pressure. So normal at sea level it is 760 mm, but as you go above mountain, this barometric pressure decreases, it will become 600, 500. So the partial pressure of oxygen in the atmosphere also decreases. Alveolar partial pressure of oxygen decreases. When the alveolar partial pressure of oxygen decreases less than 100, the oxygenation of the blood also decreases. The diffusion of oxygen at the respiratory membrane decreases. Hypoventilation because of neuromuscular disorders, any disorders of the chest wall like poliomyelitis, which affect the extrinsic intercostals, diaphragm muscles. So reducing the ventilation also decreases the oxygenation of blood. When the lungs are affected, either by increased airway resistance like COPD, bronchial asthma, or else decreased compliance like respiratory distress. Abnormal ventilation perfusion ratio where there is increase in zone 1 or else increase in alveolar dead space. Diminished respiratory membrane diffusion like in pulmonary edema where respiratory membrane thickness increases in these diseases. Also oxygenation of blood, that means oxygenation of hemoglobin and the dissolution of oxygen in the pulmonary capillaries reduces. When there are shunts, mixing of deoxygenated and venous blood, when there is patent ductus arteriosus or else septal defects. Anemic hypoxia, here the partial pressure of oxygen is normal. Adequate oxygenation occurs in the pulmonary circulation, but when there is reduced hemoglobin or RBC content, so the overall oxygen carrying capacity of the blood decreases. Overall oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. It depends on two things. One is dissolved form and hemoglobin bound form. But dissolved form is only 0.3 ml per deciliter, whereas hemoglobin bound form is 19.5 ml per deciliter. That amount decreases because of the reduced hemoglobin. Or else when there is abnormal hemoglobin. Those are the causes of anemic hypoxia. Stagnant hypoxia. Oxygenation occurs good in lungs. Dissolved content is nice. Bound to hemoglobin is nice. But when there is a generalized circulatory deficiency like hemorrhage, shock, where the blood flow decreases, blood volume decreases, and there is a localized circulatory defect where there is a blockage to the blood flow to organ, like when there are embolism in the blood vessel supplying organs. Tissue edema. When the tissues are edematous, they compress the small arterioles and meta-arterioles and small arteries, thereby reducing the blood supply. These are the reasons for stagnant hypoxia. Stagnant is here we are talking about the blood. Blood is stagnant. Histotoxic. When there are any poisoning, especially of the cellular oxidation enzymes like cytochrome P450 and all, the enzymes which are participating in the aerobic metabolism in the mitochondria. When there are any poisons like cyanides which will bind to these enzymes and damage them, so there will be less utilization of oxygen, mainly the Krebs cycle will be impaired, aerobic metabolism will be impaired. Then because of toxicity, vitamin deficiencies, vitamins are required as cofactor for most of your enzymes. So in those conditions there will be histotoxic hypoxia. Tissues will get adequate blood flow and hemoglobin is normal, adequate oxygen supply, but tissue cannot utilize that oxygen. So these are the causes. So cyanide poisoning, histotoxic hypoxia, circulatory failure, hemorrhage, heart failure, then the blood flow is decreased, stagnant hypoxia, anemia, abnormal hemoglobin like methemoglobin, reduced hemoglobin or carboxyhemoglobin. It means your hemoglobin bound to carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide at 210 times higher affinity than oxygen. So carbon monoxide poisoning, especially a person is struck in traffic or else when there is a fire, it produces more and more carbon monoxide. Vehicles produce more and more carbon monoxide. So when carbon monoxide is more in the atmospheric air, it will binds to hemoglobin. It has very high affinity and it will be very difficult for oxygen to replace this carbon monoxide. When the partial pressure of oxygen in the inspired air decreases, mainly in the higher altitudes, there is hypoxic hypoxia, decrease in ventilation, defective VP ratios, when the exchange of gases is mainly impaired. What happens to total partial pressure of oxygen in the blood decreases here. In other things, it is normal. So dissolved content of oxygen is less in hypoxic hypoxia. In other conditions, it is normal. Overall oxygen carrying capacity decreases here and also here because the hemoglobin content reduces. This also decreases the amount of hemoglobin bound to oxygen carrying capacity. Whereas stagnant and histotoxic, it is normal. O2 saturation is less here, and it is normal. Most important, stimulation of peripheral chemoreceptor. This is highly stimulating the peripheral chemoreceptor because low partial pressure of oxygen in the arterial blood. Whereas in anemic hypoxia, the partial pressure of oxygen in the blood is normal. Only the hemoglobin bound form decreases. So the chemoreceptors are not stimulated in anemic hypoxia. Because of reduced blood supply, peripheral chemoreceptors are stimulated in stagnant hypoxia and they cannot sense it, they cannot use it, histotoxic hypoxia. What about in anemic hypoxia? Because the partial pressure of oxygen dissolved form is normal. The receptors are not stimulated in anemic hypoxia, but other cases it will be stimulated. So hypoxia mainly affects the brain. The most important tissue that will be affected is brain. So it will cause the reduced mental activity, drowsiness, lassitude, and muscles also. Mental and muscle fatigue, headache, nausea, vomiting. So decreased mental proficiency, judgment, memory will be impaired. Whatever. So most importantly affected part is brain. Next part is muscles. So treatment being oxygen therapy, not for stagnant or histotoxic hypoxia. Histotoxic hypoxia, you have to treat the underlying cause. Stagnant hypoxia, you have to improve the blood supply. But for hypoxic hypoxia and anemic hypoxia, oxygen therapy is important. So in hypoxic hypoxia, if you give oxygen, pure oxygen, 100% pure oxygen, then normally you are giving air, 760 mm pressure, oxygen partial pressure being 150. But you give 100% pure oxygen, the partial pressure of oxygen will be pure oxygen At atmospheric pressure means 760 mm is partial pressure of oxygen. So the alveolar O2 will be 760 mm. So more and more oxygen will cross the respiratory membrane, increasing the dissolved content at hemoglobin. This is mainly for hypoxic hypoxia. But in anemic hypoxia, this is also not sufficiently adequate. Even you are giving at 1 atmosphere, 100% oxygen, not sufficient for anemic hypoxia. So there you will give hyperbaric oxygen. That means at 2 atmosphere and 3 atmosphere pressure. That means more than 760 mm pressure you will give pure oxygen. So what is the importance here is you will increase the dissolved oxygen content, right? At partial pressure of 100 and oxygen solubility is constant 0.003. What is the dissolved content in the deciliter of blood? 0.3 ml. So in cardiac output 5 liters it is 15 ml. But when you give hyperbaric oxygen, you increase this partial pressure. If you are giving partial pressure of arterial blood is 1000 ml, then in cardiac output it will increase almost 10 times more, 150 ml. You are giving partial pressure of oxygen 1500 mm. Increases the partial pressure of arterial blood to 1500 mm. Normally it is 100 mm. Then alone the dissolved oxygen content in the blood is sufficient for total body oxygen consumption, that is 250 ml per minute. Normally out of this 250 ml, mostly it is supplied by hemoglobin bound oxygen at normal pressures and normal air. But when this hemoglobin content is reduced, you will give hyperbaric oxygen so that you increase the dissolved oxygen content in the blood. So dissolved oxygen content is equal to 0.003 solubility into partial pressure of oxygen in the arterial blood. You give hyperbaric oxygen, you increase this partial pressure of oxygen, dissolved oxygen in the blood, increasing the dissolved form. You can increase it up to 200 to 50 ml, which is required for your body. But this has side effects. If you give hyperbaric oxygen continuously, especially in infants, neonates, they will have two important diseases: retrolental fibroplasia and bronchopulmonary dysplasia. Retrolental fibroplasia being the eyes of the infants will be affected, where see hypoxia is very important for the retinal arteries, developing retinal arteries to retract from the lens only towards the retina. Arterial supply to the eye is only present near the retina. It is not present towards the eye lens or vitreous tumor. Vitreous tumor does not have blood vessels. It has to retract back till retina. That is stimulated because of the hypoxia. Uh, that is the mechanism of retraction of those retinal vessels. But in infants, because if the infant is born with anemia, severe RBC destruction, erythroblastosis fetalis, and you give hyperbaric oxygen therapy for more periods, continuous periods, the kid will develop, the infant will develop retrolental, that means behind the lens, retrolental fibroplasia, that means increase in blood vessels. So his uterus tumor will be full of blood vessels. That retinal blood vessels will not retract. So vision will be impaired. Bronchopulmonary dysplasia, where mainly the respiratory membrane will be damaged. Bronchopulmonary dysplasia, change in the tissue structure. Normally it is supposed to be squamous cell epithelium to cause the gas exchange, but if you do continuously, the bronchi and pulmonary epithelium will be changed, and it will not become squamous, it will be cuboid or else columnar epithelium, and dysplasia is nothing but change in the epithelium to one side. So that is also detrimental. So hyperbaric oxygen therapy will not give continuously, only intermittently we can. Those are the side effects you should know. But for you, remember, for hypoxia, this is enough treatment, 100% pure oxygen. For anemic hypoxia, we will use hyperbaric oxygen therapy. Thank you. Go through your textbook.